Hey, have you ever noticed how you say you're going to change, you say you're going to do something, but you end up repeating the same old habits over and over? Let me tell you that that is not a weakness, but it's more so a behavioral chain that you can change. Because they're patterns of actions that we repeat, and they're a lot of the times unconscious patterns, but they keep us locked in the same results, even though we consciously want to change. But it's subconsciously and unconsciously deeply rooted into our behavioral system and into our behavioral patterns, into our neurological pathways. I want to read a little sentence from Neville Goddard. Him, and not only him, has helped me shift into the person that I am meant to be. So it says, the world and all within it is man's conditioned consciousness objectified. Consciousness is the cause as well as the substance of the entire world. Right? So, as you heard me say, consciously and unconsciously, right? I want to bring something to your awareness if you don't already know, right? So, this is water, right? And this is us. This is our subconscious mind and our conscious mind. Mind you, this is water. And our subconscious mind is deeply rooted into who we are. You can't see it, right? It's underwater. You can't see this. It's underwater. This is our conscious mind, right? So what's deeply rooted and underwater, since you can't see it, we have to energetically, emotionally rewire those deeply rooted traumas, those habits, those conditionings, those beliefs, and basically uproot that shit and plant new seeds. However you want to spin it, we have to change it in a way that is good for us, because subconsciously deeply rooted is things that don't serve us, right? Whether that be procrastination, overspending, toxic relationships, numbing behaviors, drinking, smoking, or just lashing out on people to not even take note of how you are really feeling and behaving, scrolling instead of creating. These types of behaviors are deeply rooted because of the amygdala, right? It's like a small almond shaped little thing that's in our brain, right here in the middle, the center of our brain, that puts us into fight, flight, or fawn mode. All right, it's the emotional alarm system of our brain, and it's always scanning for threats and pushing us into survival responses, whether that be fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When you repeat those certain behaviors that I just named, they seem like a protective response, regardless of whether or not it's a good protective response, regardless or not whether you actually want to change. If it's deeply rooted, then it's going to send the signal that something is wrong, that you need to survive. You know what I mean? And it's tagging things as dangerous, even if it's not life-threatening. Such as public speaking or risk-taking, success, or even talking about your emotions. It nudges you into avoiding these types of things. It nudges you into avoiding actually growing into the person that you actually want to be and living a successful, abundant, prosperous life. Because it feels like the safety is familiar, and we tend to go back to what we're familiar with. So we need to rewire our brain to a different familiarity. We need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. We need to reprogram our emotions and our thoughts and our subconscious mind, our nervous system, our identity, to the life that we actually want. Energetically, feeling it, not just saying it, but feeling it energetically, to send those waves, those frequencies off into the ether, off into the universe, and into our body, to get familiar with that shit, to get familiar with those feelings of public speaking, of creating content, of talking about our feelings, of, whatever it is that you're putting off because you are somewhat afraid. These behaviors are tagged as dangerous because we're not familiar with them. So whether or not we consciously know that is good for us, deeply rooted, we think that it's dangerous because we're scared of it, because we're not familiar with it, right? So that's why some of these behavioral change, like addictions, toxic relationships, codependency, money sabotaging, all these comfort zone loops, can feel like it's automatic, can feel like it's just me, and can feel like I can't change it, because the amygdala kicks in before your prefrontal cortex kicks in, which is the logic, higher self, the logic, higher reasoning. The prefrontal cortex can't lead because the amygdala has signaled to the body that you're in danger. So your prefrontal cortex cannot lead like it should. So we need to get familiar, emotionally familiar with where we're going and who we want to be, and not just consciously say it. Because once again, it's only about 5% of the way we dictate our life. If you haven't read the book, The Body Keeps the Score. Oh yeah, this is actually the first book that I have ever read that is for personal development that actually changed my life. I'm telling you, pick up this book and that Neville Goddard book. This book actually has all of Neville Goddard's novels that he has written, or whatever you want to call it, all of Neville Goddard's books. Okay, so it's the deluxe collection. Check it out. If you don't mind, check out the link in my bio. I have an Amazon affiliates link that you can get, and at no cost to you for buying from this link, but I do get a commission, so much appreciated if you do and when you do, because it helps me help my family and other people to keep this content going and to live a life of freedom like we are all looking to do, right? We're all looking to build the life that we truly want. And this, if you buy from this Amazon affiliate link or whatever I have, you are helping me and I'm helping you. So you scratch my back type shit, I scratch yours type shit, But anyways, so yeah, even if the familiar is unhealthy, right? Even if the familiar doesn't take us to the place that we truly desire and we know that is no good for us, the amygdala would rather keep us in a predictable cycle than face the unknown danger, right? Which is actually going after the life that we truly want because it's unfamiliar. So with the behavioral change being that the amygdala signals to us into locking in these habits and these cycles that hold us back, we're aware now, right? So we can break them by calming the amygdala and rewiring the subconscious mind with new empowering habits that align with the life that we actually desire. Because when we get the prefrontal cortex to actually be the driver, it is the conscious creator. It is the planning, the choosing, the rewiring of our reality. By doing that, we move from being run by old fear loops and into architecting the reality with clarity and power that we desire, that we deserve, you know what I mean? And how we can do this is by calming the amygdala, like I said, by mindful breathing. This is different for others, okay? So we can do mindful breathing, give space for the PFC to start to engage and work. We can do journal and reflecting on engaging the higher reasoning and seeing why we believe that we need to feel this way, journaling on these new feelings that we will feel once we have the end result of the desired life. What are those feelings going to feel like? What is the experience going to feel like? Journaling and mindful and meditation on those feelings, and visualizing to rewire those thought patterns into creation mode. Whatever type of visualization and affirmations that feel good to you. If you want some examples, I can definitely create a video or even a short on some visualization and affirmations. You can even do some like delaying impulses, like practicing small acts of self-control, like waiting a few minutes before reacting, right? And that strengthens your prefrontal cortex and rewires and circuits, because then it's going to strengthen your ability to pause, reflect, and choose better. So you'll have more clarity, more alignment, and you'll feel more empowered. You'll feel more confidence. You'll feel more at peace with who you're becoming and where you're going and where you are right now. And when we meditate or pray or whatever feels good to you, visualize and affirm our new reality, we strengthen the prefrontal cortex and training it into overriding the amygdalas and staying in the old fears and the old patterns. You know what I mean? You can think of it as the amygdala as the ego survival mind, and the prefrontal cortex as the higher self mind, right? Because you can create, you can expand, you can choose differently. On the other hand, it's like, what if I fail? What if I get hurt? That's the amygdala working, talking you out of what you're doing. So even when you notice the fear, just remind yourself that it's the amygdala firing. Like, it's not always true. And another perspective that we can have, that I try to have, that I pride myself on having, is knowing that the fear isn't mine. It stemmed from someone else or a situation, because if it was actually a part of me, it would feel good, right? It would sit right with me. And same for you. So the fear is just there telling your mind, your body, your soul that, hey, something isn't right here. Like, this is a part of our life right now that needs to change, so we can completely be in our full empowerment and in our power and our love, and truly happy, and feel like we're one with who we are, the universe. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's not always true, and it's just stemming from someone in your past. So it's up to us as individuals to ask and sit with ourselves, like, what is this trying to tell me? Where did this stem from? And rewiring our minds into the opposite of what that fear is, to empower ourselves. You know what I mean? And we can also do breathing practices and be present, like learn Wu Wei to be present, and understand there's nowhere for us to be, nothing for us to do but to be in this present moment, and to enjoy this present moment as much as we can, and to just breathe. Slow breathing, meditation. I love Qigong, yoga, grounding in nature, getting out in nature, taking your shoes and socks off and just walking in the grass, going to a river, you know what I mean? And hugging a tree, like just sitting by a tree, whatever, talking to birds, looking at the grass, connecting. This calms the amygdala activities. Like I said, we can do practices of affirmation and visualizations, practice the law of assumption, because it helps us teach our brain new safety signals. And over time, that electric fence of that comfortability expands. Like the limit becomes limitless eventually. You know, they're the walls, the fence, the electric fence of whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it, that comfortability is null and void, because we're creating new signals to rewire in our brain, in our body, in our mind, body, soul. You know what I mean? And we're walking into our greatest timeline. So in a sense, we're starting to thrive. We're getting out of survival mode, and we have to really take note and understand, like, the first step that we take on the path is already transformation. You're already creating a new path. That is transformation. So gratitude for that, gratitude for where you're at, gratitude for how far you have come. Literally, gratitude is the attitude for the altitude. You know, the gratitude determines your altitude. Gratitude determines that elevation, that growth. So truly be thankful for it all. Even thankful for where you have come from, your past. You know, have compassion, forgiveness for it all, even yourself, situations, whatever is hindering you, let it go to truly be free. To truly be free. Break those chains, man. Not for anybody else, but for you. For your mental, for your health, for your state of living. Break those chains. You know, especially if you have kids, if you're gonna have kids, for them as well, because you don't want to pass these traumas, this shit on to your kids, to your loved ones. Especially your kids. They don't deserve that shit. They deserve the best version of you, and you deserve the best version of you. So we're training our mind, body, and soul to relax, to move into the creation mode, and where abundance, trust, and expansion flows. You know what I mean? You know, this is something that I found myself works from this challenge that I'm doing, right? You'll find out about the challenge if you watch my other video about the 9-month update. Check that video out. So I created a vortex, an energy place, field, that is called the sanctuary of flow. This is a place that I go to in my mind to feel comfort, to feel peace, to feel empowered, to remind myself of where I'm going, to remind myself to be in the moment. And in this place is everything that can calm me, that can make me happy, that can make me feel big and bold, empowered, whatever that may be for you. I suggest you create that for yourself. Like I said, this place is called the sanctuary of flow. This is mine. It can be your power circle, your vortex, your frequency flow, your wave, whatever you want to call it, that feels good to you. It could be your happy room, you know, your happy place, whatever you want to call it. But in the states that, in the moments that you feel where you're knocked off your center, where you feel like you want to react and go crazy, or you feel like somebody is fucking with you, or you feel like things aren't just going the way that you want, go to this place. Remind yourself of where you're going. Remind yourself it's not that fucking serious. It's all about perception. And what we're working on is perception. We're working on shifting our identity, shifting our internal representation to align our mind, body, and our mind, heart, to have it in coherence with true oneness and abundance. So if you're ready to act like the person you are becoming, comment and break the cycle below. Let me know you here. Let me know you here. because we're here for each other. We're growing the community, we're growing the network, we're constructing and creating the life that we desire, one step at a time, together. So this is the last episode of the Freedom Codes series. I know it helped at least one person. I hope it helped you. If you did, let me know in the comments what video, what nugget you got from whatever it was. If it was this one, let me know. I appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback. Let me know in the comments anything else that you want me to speak on. I would love to check it out. Until next time, much love to y'all. Peace.